Hello, everyone. This is Corinne Lafont from Between the Lines Empowering Network, airing from Trinidad and Tobago, the lovely island in the Caribbean. We're actually in the midst of carnival season, so it's pumping up here with soca music and costumes and panorama. If anybody doesn't know what that is, it's that 21st century instrument that was created by Trinidad and Tobago, and where all those bands come together. I can probably share a link on that later on or share a bit about that. But I want to focus today on my special guest, Kim Interdonato. I hope I pronounced that properly. And she's going to
Yes.
thank you. And she's going to tell us where she got that name and what that means. I've never heard that kind of a name before. It's really, really different. So we're going to get to know a little bit about, and we're talking today about men. I mean, when are we not talking about men? I mean, when women are together, that's one of the things we do. And it's the same for men. Come on, men are not excused from this. When they're together, they talk about women. Okay? So we're going to be talking about men today. And I find that in the last few episodes, I've been talking a lot about men and women and relationships and marriage and, finding the right man. So it's probably just following. We're going in the flow, talking about men, but we're coming with a different angle today with Kim. And she's talking about shoes are like men. Now, quite interesting, the relationship or the connection between shoes and men. I would love to hear this, and I'm sure a lot of other women would love to hear this. And, we women wear shoes, different types of shoes. So she's a shoe expert. She has a fetish for shoes, it seems, because she's coming out with another book about shoes again. So we're going to learn more about that. And what you're looking at now is her website, which is featuring shoesareLikemen.com. And it features her book, which is pretty lovely. Nice graphic, Shoes Are Like Men. So I would suggest you get a copy of that. But before we jump into it, let me just give you a bit about Kim. Kim lives in Long Island, New York. She's 46 years old. I don't know if she's still 46 or she's probably 25. She says, oh, thank God I do not feel or act like it. See, she's probably 25. She's a single mom, and I'm sure she's proud of that. She's cool. She has a cool, energetic 8-year-old son. That's the man in her life, people. You have to compete with that if you're coming into her life. She was a competitive figure skater. How interesting. She has been a skating instructor for over 25 years now. She has been mainly teaching the power skating or hockey, and she loves her job. She wrote Shoes Are Like Men after a breakup. Typical. This is what we normally do as women. We need some way to therapize. There's a word. I just made that up. I wrote Shoes Are Like Men. She wrote Shoes Are Like Men after a breakup and was very down about her dating and life in general. After a lunch with a girlfriend who told her to look at her dating like trying on shoes. And with that advice, she took a long drive to the Hamptons and came up with a concept for the book. Her new book will be out soon, Heels and Hockey Skates, if it hasn't been already, because she sent me this bio a little while now. It is a female's perspective working in the male-dominated sport of hockey, what it's like to overcome obstacles, being judged by your appearance, and lessons, and never, ever giving up. Welcome, Kim, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. That was a great introduction. Thank you so much.
No problem. No problem. It's great to have you. Now, tell us now. Let's go a little bit back, but let's start about Interdonato. Let's start with that. Where did that name come from? Is that your original name? Are you married? Did you take that on?
No.
Did you combine the names together? Did you see a nice looking man and say, I'm going to go with that name and take it on? What?
No, actually, that is my name I was born with. I did not change my name. I actually was married before, and I never changed my name because it was a nice Italian name, and I was very proud of my heritage. So I didn't change my name. It stayed Interdonato, and even everyone said you should make it short of my pen name. But you know what? That's who I am, and I'm proud of who I am.
That's right. And hold on to it. Interdonato. What does it mean? You say it's Italian. Is there a meaning?
I think it means into money, but I don't know. I don't know how that means that because I'm really not. But that's okay.
Okay, so Shoes Are Like Men. So before we get into the Shoes Are Like Men, tell us about the breakup, if you don't mind, and what made you feel that by writing this book, it can help you, because I do believe, I'm an author myself, I'm separated, so I know and I encourage you know, my clients and women and men too, to write, because it's very therapeutic and it helps you think to think outside of yourself. When you write, you hear yourself, you see yourself, and it helps you to really heal. And what you share too can also help another woman or women or just people in general. Um, Tell us a bit about your breakup if you don't mind. You don't have to go into the gooey details, but if you want to, hey, we're open for that, because this show is all about educating, empowering, and inspiring persons to move on, to live life, be happy. Yeah?
Yeah, it wasn't gory. It wasn't, screaming, I'm throwing his clothes out the window kind of, breakup. It was more like, this isn't working out, get your stuff out kind of breakup. But, it was kind of down depressed about it. We were planning on moving in together, and I'm watching signs that, he's, cleaning up his own place, and I thought he was going to rent it, and then he said he wasn't going to rent it and not sell it, and he was moving in here, and it was just a bunch of, kind of fluff. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, listen, you're just jerking my chain here.
Mm-hmm.
I said, if you don't want to be with me, perfectly fine, ended very nicely. We still talk, very lovely person, just not the person that I want to move forward with, which is fine.
Yeah.
So
some people are meant to be friends, and some people are not meant to be in relationships with people. And you realize that after, but some people realize that early. How early in the relationship did that happen? How long were you with him?
We were together about a year and a half, and I wanted to move forward, and he just wanted to stay the same status quo, which, believe me, is perfectly fine. And I'm glad he did what he did, and if I would be happy. So many series of events happened after we broke up, and that is my life. I feel like it's so much better now. Yeah. So, things do happen for a reason, and I know people don't want to hear it, but sometimes through great pain comes great success and happiness. So if you can get through all that bad stuff, you can get through really, believe it or not, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's not usually a train that's about to hit you. And that's what I felt with this guy. It was great. I thinking that the breakup was the worst that happened to me, it kind of turned out to be kind of good, because I wrote a really funny book, and I'm meeting so many different people, and I'm doing so many different things with my life that I never thought I would do. And if I was stuck in that relationship, I would be cooking, cleaning, being a house mommy, and going to work, which I really like to do anyway. So, things always work out for a reason.
Yeah, and I believe in that. And just like you said, there isn't a train coming to hit you at the end of the tunnel. Not because it's dark means to say something horrible is coming after you. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and you have to see and believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel, So
I agree.
Yeah, that's a great story you shared here. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So with that, my girlfriend and I went out to lunch, and I was just done. I said, I'm done with men. She goes, you know what? You don't give up on anything. She goes, give me a break. She goes, you'll be fine. She goes, think of it like trying on shoes. You don't like that shoe, you go to the next one. You don't like that shoe, you go to the next one. You don't like that shoe, you go to the next one. I said, oh, God, that's so true. And I go shoe shopping so often that it is like shoe shopping. Going out dating is like shoe shopping. You got to try them on, take them out for a spin, see if you like them. If you don't like them, put them back. If you like them, bring them home, date them for a while. See what you think. The style goes out, you go get another pair. You got to think of it like that.
Now somebody listening to this might say, oh my God, that just sounds so horrible. I mean, it sounds like you're being used. And what if a man was to think of us like that? Like we were like shoes. Try us on.
Well, women are like sports cars. You got to get in, drive a little bit, see if you feel comfortable. If you want to take it for a long ride, great. If you want to just park it, go ahead. Put it any which way you want to. But, and in the first chapter, I even put, this is not a man bashing book. Listen, I wasn't perfect in my relationships either. If I was poo-poo perfect, believe me, every guy would be knocking down my door right now. We're all not perfect, but it's fun to think about. And with all these bad dates or all these good dates, came out a really funny story, and something that the work that I'm very proud of.
Yeah, and I like how you said that. It says to me that no matter what you're going through in life, how horrible it is, when you look back as they say, hindsight is 20/20, and then you could laugh at it after the fact. But you want to be able to laugh at it while you're going through it and realize it's not as bad as you think, because there will come a time when it will be in the past and you will laugh at it and you'll be like, how did I get through that? How did I manage that? I'm still alive. I'm breathing, you know. How is it possible? You know, and so I like the way you say, you know, it's really how we look at things at the time we're going through it. Yes, it's human and you might feel down and out at the moment, but try to take on a perspective where you're not going to make it consume you. And you know, just like you said, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You will get over this. It's not as bad as you think. And laugh at yourself. Laugh at yourself. Is that what you're suggesting in your book?
Oh my gosh, I suggest that the entire book. I laughed at myself the entire time. I was out at restaurants, you know, writing the book, and, you know, took my computer, and people must have thought I was a wackadoo because I was sitting in front of the computer just laughing. But you know what? The things that you think are so horrible when you're going through them, if you can change your perspective or your way of thinking about things, 9 times out of 10, they're not as bad as you think they are. Yeah. And the problems that you have today are not going to be the problems you have tomorrow.
For sure.
You move on.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah.
You know, because we all go through stuff. And like I say, when we look back, it's like, how did we manage? I'm still alive. You're pinching yourself. You're like, whoa. And then one of the things we also have to do is say, if I manage through that, then I can manage through anything. You know, if you got through that, you can manage through anything. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. You know, I've gotten through some tough times, not just with, you know, dating, but, you know, in life. And, you know, there's times that, you know what, it doesn't kill you, makes you stronger. Yeah, it does. But it also shapes you into the person that you are. Mm-hmm. And, you know, you have to learn to love yourself before you learn to love anybody else.
Exactly. Don't compromise. Don't compromise. I believe in that. And we learn that sometimes a bit too late. But when I say late, it doesn't mean to say that you cannot make the change. But sometimes we look at our lives as women and say, oh my God, I wish if I had known this earlier. I wish if I had made a decision earlier. But you know what I say about that? You know, when people come to me and say, you know, Corinne, how did you stay in your relationship for so long? Oh, you watch at other women and men say, how you stayed in it for so long. You know, what I say to myself and what came to me spiritually, because I pray about these things, is that there's a time and a season for you to go through something. And it's not really for you to decide on your own when it's supposed to end. Yes, thoughts will be coming through your mind that you're getting hints, you're getting signs, you're seeing it. But you're just not ready to let go at that point. And when you are, that's a deciding factor. Because you could have left before. I'm sure you would have seen the signs but ignored and made excuses like we all do. But there is a time when you like put your foot down and it's like, I've done this, I've given it time, I've tried, you know, I have given, right? I have given and I have taken, and this is it now. There's no turning back. So even if it took you a year and a half, it took you 5 years, 10, 20, that is just the time it took you to say enough is enough. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I always say this to myself all the time. The situations that you're in there for a reason. Mm. God doesn't make mistakes.
Oh,
God just doesn't make mistakes. He puts you through tests and he puts you through things to make you the person that you are. And, you know, he loves you for who you are. And, you know, I'm very spiritual in that way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you say, you have to love yourself before you could love anybody else. You know, you need to work on you. And like you said, you were not perfect. We are all not perfect. I mean, we are perfect in God's sight, but we have taken on things that we shouldn't be taking on in our personality, in our behavior and attitude. And we need to really realize that it takes two to tango. And, you know, there are things that we are doing in the relationship that is messing things up. And there are things that the guys are doing in the relationship that are messing things up. And it takes sometimes 2 of us to recognize, sometimes 1 of us to recognize, but it takes one person to really make that leap and say, this is not making sense. You know, it's always the one person who is strong enough to say, this is, you know, you're recognizing everything and it just makes no sense lying to yourself any further, going through the torture, pretending. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of times I've lied to myself and thought I have my Cinderella foot, in my big giant foot, thinking it's going to go into a Cinderella shoe. I lied to myself a lot of times, believe me.
Yeah. So shoes are like men. Now, tell us the relationship between shoes and men. Give us some analogies here that you have discovered as a shoe
Sure.
professional, as a shoe professional.
Sure, I definitely could do that. You know, you always have, all the chapters are different kind of shoe styles. They're not like, you know, a stiletto or a sneaker. It's more like a comfy shoe, or it's more like the shoes we give away to charity, or a broken shoe, or everybody loves that hot shoe. You all love that hot guy that's going to break your heart, that you know is not good for you, but you go out with him anyway. He's the hot shoe. And then you have your comfy shoe, the one that you just, you know, you're more friends with than you are dating. Better dating, you know, better friend companions than you are dating companions. And then, you know, you have your broken shoe. Believe me, I've had many broken shoes, you know, guys that you go out with and they're still not over their exes. Or, you know, or shoes you get online. You know, they're not quite what they appear online, and when you get them home, they're not so great.
Oh, Lord. Yes. The online shoes, I love that one. I didn't think you would throw that one in there, Kim. But yes, that was a good one.
Oh, yeah, that was a good one. I really hope your listeners do pick up the book. You know, it's very, very comical, and it's so relatable.
Yeah.
You know, everybody that's read it, it's, you know, go look at the Amazon, you know, if you go into Amazon, just, you know, if you're listening right now, go on Amazon and read the reviews. It is such a comical book, and it'll just make you laugh. You know, if nothing else, you need a good laugh, go grab the book.
No, I love the one about online, because we have all bought things online in one way or another, and it looks nice. It looks perfect.
Oh,
Yeah. And when we get it, it's nothing like what we see. You know, something, there may be a scratch. There may be a scratch. It may be smaller than we thought. You know, whatever. And some get perfect ones too.
Yeah, you know, it's like that, you know, you're thinking it's like this nice leather shoe, and then you get this like cheap piece of crap. It's like, what the heck? You know, it just kind of reminds me of like, it kind of reminds me of guys, you know. It's like, you know, they look so good in the picture. And I even put this in, guys, I even put this in there like that. Women, they'll put pictures up like, you know, when they look like 10 years ago. Nobody wants to see what you look like 10 years ago. They want to see what you look like now. They're dating the person now, not 10 years ago, you know.
And what about shoes? I'm a woman and I shop for shoes. So I'm going to throw certain things out there. Now, I know as a woman, we go out there and we buy shoes, and the shoes is burning us to hell, Kim. It's creating those bunions and corns on our feet and calluses. But the shoe looks great. The shoe looks great. It's sexy. Everybody's like, whoa, that shoe's for you. You step in it, but it's hurting you to hell. And it's high, and you don't normally wear high heels. You know, why do we put ourselves through that sufferation? What sort of man is that in relation to that type of shoe, where we're willing to suffer through the burns and
I have a chapter for him. That is the painful shoe. That shoe is, you try to go on it all night long and it just doesn't work. It's a painful shoe. I've put myself in more situations that I set myself for heartbreak than I care to imagine. And, you know, I try to call the guy back. I try to, see if I can meet up with him, and he wants nothing to do with me. That is my painful shoe.
Oh, Jesus. That shoe would burn to hell. You're going to get corns. You have nice, lovely feet, and all of a sudden you're seeing corns on your toes. You know, all sorts of things that are unnecessary to go through. And sometimes you see women, Kim, in these, they look great. I'm not saying no, they look great, but they can't walk in the damn shoes. Why are they putting themselves through that sufferation? They can't walk in the damn. And you see them with their back bending, they're hurting, they're tipping in the shoes. If somebody was to run them down with the shoe, they can't even run in the shoes. You can see them twisting their foot in the damn thing and breaking their knee and ankle. Why? What sort of man is that? What sort of woman is that to put herself through that?
You know what? Now this, I'm going to relate this to dating. We all do it, and if you ever dated, you did it. Okay, you're trying to fit 2 pounds. You're trying to fit 2 pounds of bologna into a 1 pound bag. We all try to make something fit that just doesn't fit, and we all are sitting there laughing, going, shaking our heads, going, "Yeah, I've done that in that relationship. Yeah, I've done that in that relationship. This person's not good for you. They want, or they don't want to get married. They want to, they want to live the single life your whole life, and you want to get married and have a family. And you're trying to fit this person into your mold. They're not going to fit into your mold. Find somebody that's going to fit into your mold.
Yeah.
Find a shoe that fits.
Yeah. No, and there are some women that would buy shoes as inappropriate for the event. So you're going to be standing for a very long time. You know that you need to wear something comfortable, yet you're wearing the highest heel as if you're coming to impress someone. And you're like, you look at them and you're like, what? What are you doing in that high heel of a shit? This is going to be an event where you're standing for hours. Who are you coming to impress? What? Tell me, Kim. Tell me. Explain that.
Oh, I've done that plenty of times. I've wore the most inappropriate shoe, and I'm standing there going, I deserve this. I deserve all the pain that I'm going through right now. I could have wore a nice sneaker. No one would have cared the less. But I'm going to wear these hot heels because I think, you know what? Sometimes it makes us feel good, and I get that. Believe me, it's so funny because I usually don't go out without high heels, and I went to my son's birthday party just this weekend, as a matter of fact, and I knew I was going to be serving pizza and running around serving cake and, going to his birthday party and, talking to parents and stuff like that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm in heels. This one time, I did not wear heels. I wore a comfortable shoe. Still a hot shoe. Don't get me wrong. Right. I still look good. I still was strutting it. But my son looked down at my feet and said, "Hey, why aren't you fancy today?" I started laughing so much because my son always knows I always go out in high heels. I'm like, well, look, I'm going to be doing a lot of, mingling, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot of running around. And it just was really funny when he told me, "Hey, why aren't you fancy today?"
Because he knows you in the heels. I tell people, I say, when I'm buying shoes, it must be comfortable. I walk around with it in the store. I preserve my feet. I love my feet. I don't have corns, bunions, anything like that. And I have neat, small feet. Everybody always talk about my feet. And I'm like, wow, I love just looking at my feet. I love taking care of it. I love when I put on a shoe, it looks neat and sexy. So I preserve my feet. I love my feet. I'm standing in it. It's given to me by God. Why should I go through sufferation with this thing to buy a shoe that hurts or burns or squeezes my foot? Or what? Why should I go through that? I'm a functional person. So if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, okay, if I'm going with a friend and she invites me, I'm thinking, okay, tell me a bit about the event, what sort of thing it is. If I know it's something where I have to stand for a long time, I'm dressing appropriately. So I'm like in jeans, whatever, and I put on probably one of my low heel boots or something, a flats, something a slip on or something. Because I know I will be standing. And some of them go in their heels and you see them coming back, oh my God, my knee, my back, my this, my that. I'm like, why are you putting yourself through that? When I'm so comfortable in my flat.
Well, I have to tell you, there are definitely times that you have to do your appropriate thing. But then there are times you just got to go for it and wear your heels. And I'll tell you, and then any one of your listeners can use my line too. You're more than welcome to use my lines. I have a very funny line when I go out to bars, and it's only not worked, I think, once, honestly. Every time I go to a bar or I sit, like I go out to a nice restaurant, I wear heels, and I've always got bar space. And I will tell you why. It is a secret. I always find like a nice looking guy at the bar that I really want to talk to, and I go up there very, very nice and very sweetly and go, "Oh, sir, I'm wearing sitting shoes. Would you mind if I sat next to you or took your seat, please?" And they looked at me and they always say, what is sitting shoes? And everybody always asks the same thing. I said, in order for me to look really, really pretty and hot, I got to wear these uncomfortable shoes. So would you mind if I sat or leaned against this bar next to you? Let me tell you something. I've got more conversations and more drinks on that line. It's great.
Kim, I'm not promising you to use that line, but I will remember you when I see a cute guy. I am not, because if I were to try it, I would remember you, and and it might not come out as nice as you say it. No, I am not promising that, but I'm going to give permission for anybody else listening to the episode to do it, and then come back to us on the post when we share, and tell us if it works.
I guarantee you'll at least get a drink out of it.
Oh my goodness. So Kim, let's look at the reverse now. I don't only want to just talk about the woman, and I know you've written a book mainly for women, but let's see if the men were to be here on this show. How do you think they would see us? Because I like to have a balance in everything I do. How do you think they would see us?
You know what, I joke around a lot, but actually in the first chapter, I did write right away in the first chapter, this is not a man-bashing book. You know, I have no intentions of bashing anybody that I've ever dated. As a matter of fact, I've done several book signings and quite a few events, and several of my ex-boyfriends have come to them, and they said, you know, am I in the book? And I always tell them, read the book. You're probably in it, but read the book. And they do, and they always come back and say that they thank you for not male bashing them. And you know, I'm just not that type of person. I always think, you know, negative attracts negative, positive attracts positive. And this was just meant for a silly, lighthearted, fun book. And he said it's really just funny, you know, which is good.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put any work. I don't want to put out any work that's going to be negative or hurt someone's feelings. That's just not my thing. I don't roll that way.
Right. I mean, a man might, listening to the show, might suddenly decide to counter your book and decide to come out with one for us. You know, I mean, or for them. You know, women are like this.
You know what? I encourage it, and I encourage you to hook up with me, and we'll have some funny stories together. You know,
that's right, and probably do both. Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Do some co-working, co-organized book signing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Women are like, I even said, like, women are like sports cars. Women are like cocktails. You know, you got it.
Yeah.
Whatever floats your boat, whatever you're good at.
Yeah. You have another book coming out. Has it been published yet? Or are you still working on it?
Yeah, no, it's out. It's coming out. I should get my first copy, which I'm really excited about, by the end of the week. I just got an email from my publisher, which I'm really super excited about. It's still lighthearted and funny, but it has a little bit more of a serious tone to it, especially now with women working in male-dominated industries. And and it's got to be very hard right now to be a male working with females, because you don't know the right thing to say. You always feel like you're on edge. And I have to say, I work with the most incredible men, and I work in a really, really male-dominated industry of hockey. And I wrote a book, and the book was also extremely positive. And it was not to bash my coworkers in any way, shape, or form. They are just the most supportive, lovely people that I've ever met in my life. And I've been lucky. And I think if you put yourself in a situation where you know you're going to get yourself harassed, you know, get out of it. You know, we're all smart enough women that we know that, you know, listen, there's times that there's sexual predators out there. We're all going to come across them. And those are the people you either stay away from or you blow the whistle on, because they deserve what they get in life. But there are other guys who are just, you know, innocent and, you know, probably don't mean any harm and just trying to joke around and take it a little bit to the next level. And I'm lucky, as I said, you know, my guys that I joke around with all the time, and, you know, we joke around with each other constantly. And, you know, we're on the ice, and we're, you know, the banter back and forth can get a little intense, but, you know, I give it right back to them. But working in a male-dominated working in a male-dominated industry is definitely hard. And the book is all about that and what it's like, you know, how you how to appear and how you and what, you know, your appearance matters, you know.
Yes. And your appearance matters. It should matter to you first, because everything needs to start with you first, as opposed to trying to please someone else. So focus on you. You know, that's what I've realized over the years. You know, we tend to do things to please everybody, but you really need to understand it's all about you. Do you? You know, and then other people will start seeing who you really are. Because when you start doing it for other people, I think you get lost. You lose who you really are, because you're doing it for others than really for yourself, understanding who you really are and how you want to be represented, you know? So
that's very true. And it's very easy to get lost. It really is. I've gotten lost a lot of times. And I find sometimes when even like a dating cleanse is good too, because you can find out who you are. And, you know, we all have special gifts and we all have special talents, and, you know, let them shine.
Yeah. You know, like coming back to the whole thing about shoes, I mean, I love boots. I live in the Caribbean, and people in the Caribbean don't really wear boots because they have been taught and we have been socialized into thinking that boots is really for cold countries, right? We don't have snow in the Caribbean, at least not yet. So it's believed, because you see it in the media, you see it on TV, you see it in the movies, you know, magazines and stuff. It's more American, northern, you know, those cold countries type of thing that will wear boots. But I have a fetish for boots. I just love boots. I'm serious. I have a weakness.
Me too.
Boots. Yeah, I just love boots. The knee-high ones. The knee-high.
Yes, they're great.
I just find it so sexy, and I know it will. It takes me, because I've tried on boots, and I just love the feel of it. And I have a short one that I wear that everybody loves when I have it on. You know, when I have on my jeans, because I love to wear boots with jeans. And I told people I'm going to be wearing boots. I know when I step out on the streets here in the Caribbean, people will be like, "What? Who does she think she is? You know, this is not in America. This is not Europe." But I really don't give a crap, because it's a shoe.
Right.
It's a shoe, and shoes are shoes. I am not complaining or watching what you are wearing. You know, I call them Spartacus shoes, you know, the ones that wrap around your feet, you know, where they do all those little wrapping. I don't like Spartacus shoes. I like a whole boots, you know. I mean, those type of Spartacus type shoes don't fit me. I just don't like it. It just doesn't make me feel good in them. So, you know, I'm coming home last night from dancing, because I do Latin dancing, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, talking, and I'm saying, you know, the kind of, if I were to put myself somewhere, probably I would do well in a sort of Texas or country place, because I was in Texas a couple months ago, and I'm like, gosh, you know, the long jackets and the coats and the boots is my thing. You know, I could see myself in our jeans all day, every day, you know, on a farm, you know, horses and all those things. I think my personality is meant for that. You know, you feel like you know, you know where you're born and grow, but sometimes you feel that you fit somewhere else. Does that make sense, Kim?
All the time. I'm laughing because it makes sense to me all the time. I most feel comfortable in heels. I really do. And even if it's, you know, going out to the store, if that's what I feel comfortable in, you know what, I'm going to do it. If you don't, and you know what, be yourself, because you know what, at the end of the day, and I tell my friends this all the time, at the end of the day, when people put their head on their own pillow, they're worried about their own problems, not what you're wearing, not what you're doing, not what person you're dating, not what shoe you're wearing, not what job you have. They worry about their own self, and that's what they should be worrying about.
Exactly.
And if they're worried about you, then if they're worried about you, then they need a psychiatrist.
I say
they've got some big problems.
I say, because that would be the first thing I would ask somebody. How is that bothering you? How is my shoe your problem? I am not
exactly.
Yeah, I'm not asking you. I'm not worried about what you are wearing or the color of your hair or the earrings that you're wearing. It doesn't bother me. I didn't even notice what you're wearing. Why are you worried about what I'm wearing? Right?
Listen, I grew up with the old expression of, if you have nothing nice to say to somebody, don't say it at all.
Say nothing at all. Say nothing, nada. Keep it to yourself. Zip it. That's what it is. That's what it is. I am actually on Amazon looking at your book, Shoes Are Like Men, and looking at some of the reviews like you suggested. So while you were talking, I was scrolling through and showing that and seeing your lovely, sexy picture there in that red dress on your
Oh, thank you.
Yes, 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 yes. And looking at some of the reviews, you have 13 beautiful reviews. You have people who are just giving it 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars. And so, and so I look forward to seeing the other book coming out next to that with your name next to it, you know, to check out what the reviews would be. But before we go and before we wrap up, I wanna touch on you being a figure skater. Tell us a bit about that. And you're doing ice hockey, is it, or is it the other hockey?
Yeah, no, I'm doing ice hockey. It's called power skating. They call it ice hockey. You know what? I was a figure skater and a competitive figure skater for years.
Wow.
And I also taught it for a long time. And I was also an adult figure skater. I competed over in Las Vegas a couple of years ago. And I had a great, great time in the adult nationals. It was a lot of fun. It was more supportive than it was competitive. We were all just hoping to God no one broke a hip because it was the adult, you know, category.
Mhm.
We had a great time. And with that, figure skating is a great sport, but unfortunately it wasn't paying the bills. And when you read the other book, you'll notice it. I'm going to actually send you the books today.
Yeah.
You know, it was hard. You know, I found it a real struggle. I was, you know, working 5 other jobs while I was figure skating because I couldn't make the bills.
Yeah.
But I found that I was very talented in teaching hockey, and the rink that I work at is more dominated in hockey.
Mhm.
So I changed my entire business and became a hockey instructor. And the guys were a little tentative and a little reluctant, you know, when I first started. And now we have an incredible relationship. And I think it grew with just being able to, you know, relate to the guys and show them that I wasn't there to threaten them. And we built up a nice trust.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's what it is about, you know, just, how should I say that now? Positioning yourself, letting them know that you know just as much as they do, or you're willing to learn from them as well as they're willing to learn from you. And this whole domination, whether it is male or female, there's no such thing like that anymore. I mean, when you look at nursing, there are a lot of male nurses now coming into the career. There are a lot of women pilots. There are a lot of, you know, we need to stop delineating and separating and, you know, feeling that this industry or this career is fit for only this particular type of person. You know, once you have the capability and skill, it has nothing to do with your gender or anything, you know, or color of your skin or where you're born or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know, it's your capability and skill. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell everybody, listen, you know, no matter what color, race, gender you are, if you peel an onion, there's a lot of layers underneath.
Oh, yeah.
And peel a person, and there's a lot of layers underneath. And people are so beautiful. And I have been so blessed in the last year when I've written this book. It has opened up so many different opportunities to meet so many different types of people, men and women. And I could not be more thankful for that.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason, Kim. Everything happens for a reason, but we need to allow it to happen. Sometimes we block our own success. Sometimes we block our own blessings. You know, we are our own worst enemy. We are our own obstacle. Yeah.
I agree. I agree 100%. I agree with you. And, you know, for all your listeners, on a lighter heart you know, try not to take things so seriously, and try not to take, you know, try not to get so wrapped up in what you think is always right. If you open your mind up, there's so many, the world is so unbelievable.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And that's a great note to end the show on. Kim, it's been a pleasure. You know, I mean, it's unfortunate we couldn't show your beautiful face on because we were having some little technical difficulties, but that's okay. That's okay. We're going to be showing you. I mean, I have your website, your book, and everything here, all the reviews. You know, they saw a beautiful picture of you here, but don't worry. I'm sure you're going to be back on my show again, or something is going to work out where we'll be able to do some video talks and people will be able to see and connect with you, you know? So don't worry.
I would love it. Great time. I had a great interview. Thank you so much for the awesome interview.
Not a problem at all. And one of these days, the only ice that we know here in the Caribbean is in the fridge, okay? So, so figure skating is not our thing. So whenever,
Well, if anybody's out there in Trinidad and wants to hire me as an ice skating instructor, I'm more than happy to come there and work as an ice skating instructor. I'll most likely have to lay on the beach a lot and get tan, waiting for the ice to brew. But I will sacrifice for all
right,
of you people in Trinidad.
right, waiting for the ice to grow, right. That would be never, and you would always be lying on the beach, Kim. I don't think that's a fair relationship.
I think it's a great career. It's not lucrative, but it's a great career.
We will see. We will see. I can promise you this. One of these days, I'm going to come up there, meet you, and you're going to take me out on the ice. Please video me.
Whenever you come to New York, you please look me up and you email me or you call me. You have my number.
Yes.
We will have a great time, and we'll wear your boots. We'll both wear boots.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And we're gonna go to the bar.
Your boots,
we're gonna go to the bar, and I'm gonna try out that line, Kim. I'm gonna try out the line. Okay, I'm gonna.
When you try out the line, I really need you to text me or email me and how it worked out.
You'll be right next to me. I'm not going to the bar by myself. I'm not going to the bar. So I look forward to that, Kim. It's been a pleasure. I had so much fun this morning. Thank you so much, and all the best with your
Thank you.
books. All the best with your 2 books. All the best with your career and your son. Hug him, kiss him, love him, because he's the man in your life right now. So.
Oh, he certainly is.
Yeah. You have a wonderful day, and thanks again.
Thank you. You too. Take care.